So hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay, and I'm the founder of World Changing Kids, and my pronouns are she and her. And I am joined today by a new friend whose name is Gigi, who I'm very excited to introduce to you. Through World Changing Kids, I've been meeting amazing people, amazing leaders and world changers and artists and community builders. And I have these great conversations. You know, we meet, we book a phone call, we book a Zoom call to get to know each other better, but it's just between the two of us. And I thought there could be other people out there who want to hear our stories, hear the first time we meet, and hear this very authentic conversation where we're learning about each other. So I had the idea today to record this and put it up, and then we can both share it with our audiences, and we can help make the world a better place in a bigger way. So with that introduction, I will pass it on to Gigi to introduce herself and what she does.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. I mean, first of all, thank you for creating this. Like, this is such a brilliant idea because I have had that many of times, like just talking with friends or new people, then afterwards being like, we should have recorded this. This was just so good. And it does feel kind of like, I don't know if selfish is the right word, but kind of like we have this little secret and we're not sharing it with more people. And so I love that you're doing it this way. I think it's super like authentic and very real. As she said, my name is Gigi. My full name is actually Najija. I do go by Gigi, but I do like to kind of throw in what my full name is. It is Nigerian. My dad's from Nigeria. He's from the Boki tribe. And in this time and space, I am a public speaker. I've been speaking actually for over 10 years now, which is so crazy. And I like to say that speaking is totally my art. I'm a storyteller just as of recently, and I also create beautiful and intimate spaces for women, especially to come together and to dive deeper into what it means to have an intimate relationship with themselves and with other women. And currently right now, I am doing that with my Embodied Ally program. It is a program that connects spirituality, shadow work, all of that beautiful inner world exploration and self-awareness with allyship and activism. So that the good work that we're doing in the world and the good work that white women who are allies are doing in the world is coming from an embodied place and fully self-aware, not just from the mind, but actually incorporating all the bodies.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we met at a very short networking event where we had about like 5 minutes to, talk about ourselves and what we do with a group, two other lovely women that we met. But I felt very connected to what you were doing in coming at it from a different way, right? Like, so you are working with women and with adults to make the world a better place. And I'm kind of, building it from the kids up. So what we kind of, I think what we connected with quickly was the work that I'm doing with the Upstanders Academy that I created. So I bring kids between the ages of 8 and 13 together in an online space because of COVID. And we talk about anything and everything, any topic that the kids want to talk about. So we talk about homelessness, and we talk about racism, and we talk about food waste, security, food rescue, anything. And then we pair it with an action you can take to help make it better. So everything is about empowering the kids to believe they can make a difference now, not just in the future, but right now. And my hope goal theory with this is that we will help raise a generation of kids who are empowered and confident and inspired leaders and citizens who know that they are powerful, that they have a voice and they have important things to say. And it's almost in the hopes that then, because I find a lot of adult women are kind of working through all this now, right? This stuff, we have to get rid of all these limiting beliefs that we had. So my thought is kind of, how do we do this from the get-go? And you're doing the great work at the other end, kind of coming to the middle. Yeah, so we felt a connection, and we felt that our audiences might be interested in what the other person is doing. One thing that you said that really did, spark interest and ideas and curiosity is you said you created, tell me if I have all the words wrong because it was a couple weeks ago, but in my mind, what I remembered was you created kind of an anti-racism workshop, and then you found that the large proportion of the participants were white women. And that wasn't what you thought, but that was a really interesting direction it took, right?
Yeah, and that's like kind of sometimes what happens like with business. You think you have one idea of what's supposed to happen, and you're kind of led on this like magical like journey, you know. But I actually created a summit. It was the Adore, Don't Ignore Black Women Summit. And I won't get into the full story, but it totally came to me through meditation. So it felt very divine in creating that. And it was really tough. It was like 3 months of like pushing away from like what was coming through me. And, you know, so it's a lot of like inner learnings and stuff happening. But I finally produced the summit, and it was supposed to be the intention was for Black women to join in, to be able to heal that inner Black girl and the wounding that they had in terms of growing up in a world of racism and oppression, you know, in that little girl Black body. But it turned out that there was a lot more white women that were vocal on the summit, and they were requesting afterwards, like, what's next, you know, via email. And I had no like big idea for what's next. I'm like, I don't really have any. There is no next, you know.
Right.
But I decided to go deep into meditation, tune in, to see if there really was something. I don't like to just create anything just because. It really has to feel, especially at this stage of my life, it has to feel very purposeful for me to do it, you know. And I typically never talked about racism with my work, so it wasn't my typical you know, way of like presenting my work in the world. But then clearly there was something that fully came forward. I mean, you know, it's like, whoa. And so that's when I led into creating the Embodied Ally program. And
Right.
I do
Okay.
bring in like other experts and stuff during the month because, you know, I know, you know, my gift and my offering and my vision for this. And I know it's a collaboration of other women. And I really believe it's like, we must come forward, you know, with all of our bodies. And so it's not just the intellectual body or the intellect of the mind, but there's intellect in the emotional body, there's intellect, you know, in our spiritual body, et cetera. And so it's really bringing all that. And so sometimes I bring in other speakers, trainers that have more of a gift in other areas that can show up for that.
Right. I think that's where we connected too when we were chatting before, because that's definitely with the Upstanders Academy. It's not me. I don't know all these things. I'm actually learning with the kids, right?
Yeah.
So I bring in guest experts in all the areas, whatever the kids are interested in. If we're talking about homelessness, we bring someone who works for Operation Come Home, who works with homeless youth, you know, and she tells us about the realities and what we can do to help. So yeah, I liked that we're kind of coming at the same way from that too, right? That we don't have all the answers, but we know there's a need. On my side, I know kids are hungry for this conversation. You learned, especially white women are very hungry for a conversation, a safe space, you know, to talk about racism. So we're kind of just creating that space in a beautiful way. So the new program you have, tell me about that more.
Yeah, so it's a membership. And so it was like originally like a 4-week program, but now it's just a full-on membership. And so it's every month that we gather like 3 live calls a month. One is led by myself, which is about teaching more of the foundation of what it means to be an embodied ally. And then I also bring a lot of like deep connection between the women within themselves and within each other,
Okay.
and really connecting to their particular unique vision with this cause and with this healing, like on our planet, you know, of racism. And the second call is always like a guest speaker. So they come in, talk about history or, you know, somatic work, you know, whatever their specialty is. And then the third call is storytelling, and that's open live. So even people who aren't on the membership, if you're listening in and you want to drop in, actually the last Sunday of this month, there'll be like a storytelling call, and it's going to be donation based. So, you know, if you're tight on funds, you can just totally drop in and listen, and it'll be women of color sharing intimate stories around their life and their experience, and white women can come and hold space and witness. And I think it's a beautiful way to, because not all white women have, you know, intimate friendships with Black women or other women of color. And so it's a way to get beyond the normal surface conversations that we might have with somebody that we know who is Black or another woman of color, but we're not like having that real intimate conversation. We might feel a little intimidated or a little scared of asking certain questions or peeking into their world, you know. So this is a experience for like unity and connection and witnessing to happen too.
Okay, that's amazing. So can you send me that link and I'll attach it to this when we're done? I think that is super important. And just what you said, there aren't always spaces where, you know, even I would feel comfortable. Like, I don't want to ask too much. I don't want to pry. I don't want to insult. I don't want to like take too much emotional labor. You know, there is a lot of fear of doing it wrong. So creating this space where you pay what you can, you're there for the conversation, you're there for the learning, That's really amazing. And I'm going to share that. I have a friend who just reached out to me to share any and all resources to learn about racism and anti-racism. And she's a teacher, and it's kind of in a school setting, like for all the teachers. And I think that that could probably be good too, because storytelling is a super powerful tool for building empathy and for building connection and for making us, I mean, that's what I always say with the kids, but I'm sure it applies to adults as well, you know, but when you put a story and a face, you know, and a new friend you've met to the topic, with kids at least, then like if they hear someone say something racist, they'll be like, you can't say that, you know, I learned from, you know, Gigi when I heard this story and that's wrong. It just it's that easy with kids, right? Like just kind of repeating that message.
Mhm. Yeah, and I love that you're like what you're doing with these young children, like actually bringing in all these different topics. And it's like the school that I know for me, like I wish that I had, you know, and to be able to feel like I have like a say or I have some power, some ownership in myself and in my direction. Like that, honestly, like felt like it was stripped from me as a child. And like you said, I mean, that's what we're we're doing the unlearning
Right,
of right now.
right.
And I did some mentoring with young people like about a few years ago. I had this amazing program that I was involved in with interns, and I created like coaching programs, confidence classes, and things like that for the young kids who were doing these internships. And there was one young woman, she was a senior, and it was her last day of her internship. And so we had a meeting with her and her supervisor at the site she was at. And I asked her how it went, and her boss or her supervisor loved her. Like it was a perfect match. And the girl started crying, like literally, because she said that in school, she felt like she was stupid. Like she could not get anything higher than a D.
Right.
And she felt like that defined it, that defined her worthiness, that defined her intellect or her gifts, you know. And so now her being at this site and being able to contribute to things that like matter to her, she's able to see that she does have value. And she was in tears. And of course, like I heard that story had so much resonance in my own personal life and was able to affirm that, you know, she's very gifted and creative. And sadly, a lot of our school systems aren't really created to nourish and nurture that. And so spaces like what you're doing are so rich and so needed and so valuable. Like I think, and a lot of times it's like people just don't know about it.
Right.
They just kids don't know about it. And so I'm just so grateful to be able to spread this to more young people, more families, so they can connect their kids to something like this.
Thank you. Yes, I am finding it's been very organic. So I have a business degree. I worked in the government before having kids, you know, but then I stayed home with my kids and I did community building work just in the neighborhood, in the community. And it's really been led from the kids. It's like, what do they respond to? What are they interested in? What conversations are they not getting in their other spaces, you know? And one thing a story similar to what you said, a similar story that blew my mind is I used to go into classrooms and just do something very simple. We would make kindness cards. So I'd bring in construction paper, markers, stickers, right? That's it. And we would make kindness cards for your bus driver or for, you know, the crossing guard, and the kids would get to work. Or one time we went in and I committed to making 100 kindness cards for the homeless for a friend who was giving out packages, you know, for the holidays, and everyone was going to get a hand-drawn card from the kids. And so all these times, every time I go in, what I started seeing is it's the kids who don't fit in perfectly to the school system. The little boy who needs a special chair to sit on the carpet because he tends to roll around on his friends if he's not sitting in his, you know, special chair. These kids, and one time I went in and a teacher said, you know, this child, don't worry if he doesn't participate. He probably won't. If he just draws two things and walks away, that's okay. We'll just let him do that. That's what he needs to do. You know, don't worry about it. Don't be insulted, you know, kind of thing. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So all of these kids who you would think who normally didn't put that much effort into a school project, were the ones who put the most effort into these cards. Like the little boy who needed a special chair to remind him not to roll over his friends, he kept his card till the end of the day. Like I had to go back at the end of school and get his card because he kept working on it. It was so important to him, you know. And the little boy who'd never finished a project did like 3 cards, you know, to thank the bus drivers. And he was so proud. He was holding it up saying, I'm a master artist, you know? And I'm like, yes, you are. This is lovely. And so I started, you know, realizing that there's kids that are not being reached by doing worksheets for themselves, right? By sitting there and doing worksheets for their own grade. And then I ran into a young woman who had just finished alternative high school. an alternative high school here in Ottawa. And was telling her this story, and she said, oh, that totally makes sense. That was me as a kid. And she said that same thing. If it was a worksheet and it only affected my own grade, I could care less about it. But if you told me I was going to work on something that actually was going to make someone happy, yeah, I would have jumped in 110%. But the school system was completely failing her, completely making her feel like she was not valuable. And then finding this alternative high school program, she said did change her life. But yeah, all of those things where I'm like, we can do better. And in these small ways.
So, I mean, full body chills, like from those stories. It's like, I'm feeling so moved, like honestly, it's like tears behind my eyes. I so connect to those stories. And that is like, I'm imagining like life-changing. And it might seem like a little moment, but that is a massive, massive moment,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to like, to have that. So
I do love it. I am inspired every day by the kids, and that's why I let them lead where we're going. So yeah, since COVID hit and we kind of turned everything online, it's actually opened doors I didn't even know were there, because we can connect like this, right? Like back in March, I didn't really know how to use Zoom. I couldn't have really called you and been like, I know how to record this and I can even edit it, But we put our Upstanders Academy online, because in reality, I had just created this idea and I had like 13 kids signed up, but I rented the church up the street and they walked right from school to the church one day a week to meet with me, my lovely friends in the community who like give me their children for my experiments, right? So we only got 2 weeks in and then we got sent home. So then I was like, let's try to put it on Zoom. I have no idea what that'll look like. And the kids just exceeded my expectations every time. Like they came on, they were engaged. We would talk about topics. We would watch videos. I'd share articles. We'd come up with things we could do even virtually, and then that turned into, well, we can interview people, because you can't do that much through Zoom, really. You can't like sew together and make a project, but you can interview people. So the first kind of online workshop we brought in was another friend who said, so the three of us are friends, but so Jolynn said, well, Coyote, who's a First Nations Indigenous hip hop artist here in Ottawa, and Jolynn and I had brought him in for a pink shirt day, an anti-bullying celebration before. And, he talks about growing up as a First Nation youth and being bullied and, going to a very dark place, and then how music healed him, art healed him, right? So he does this beautiful presentation. So I was like, let's try it. And we had all these kids sign up for it and they just loved him. And my process, my framework is very like wide open, unscripted conversations. So I don't prepare questions. The guest introduces themselves and then the kids are just asking questions, and they can ask it in chat, they can ask it on the camera, they can have their camera off, whatever makes them most comfortable. And then this turned into like 4 more sessions with Cody because the kids were asking for it. And then it turned into a month-long hip hop songwriting workshop with Cody. And then we brought in Georgia from the Isle of Wight to talk about, she takes plastic pool toys that would otherwise be thrown in the garbage, they're broken, and she repurposes them into bags and accessories, and just like bring that idea to the kids, right? And then it was Gevertelli over in San Francisco, who's like rethinking education. He's like an education disruptor. He's amazing. It's all about like tinkering and hands-on learning and project-based learning. He came to talk to the kids, which I find fascinating, because let's inspire them to change their own education, right? Give them the tools. Yeah, so it's been just world expanding and a really exciting journey, I guess would be the word. But all with the goal, yeah, of like just that sparking that one interest in that one kid, right? Yeah.
And like, everything that you're saying is just so inspiring. And like, what is it that you've noticed thus far, like that you might kind of say like, yeah, I would love more support in this, or I need that, or this is kind of like, would expand it even more? Is there something that's been coming up for you that maybe like I can even help out, or someone listening in?
Yeah, I think it just is now expanding the audience, because, what I've been doing, I've kind of worked with the same core group of kids, who are awesome and great, but I can't keep going back to them and being like, hey, I have another workshop, you want to sign up for it? Like people are getting zoomed out. And so, yeah, I have more ideas than the people to access them, but I know it's good stuff. So yeah, this is my goal, is to kind of get the news out there about it, right? So that's all. Just sharing this with your audience will be helpful. Okay. Yeah, and same on your side. What can I do to help you?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, the same thing is also, just spreading the message I don't really have like a huge goal in terms of I need to hit this many numbers or anything like that, but it's more about the women who are feeling that desire for this type of community and this type of space, for them to know about it and for more to know about it. And so, yeah, so spreading the message, or if anyone's listening and thinks like their group might be interested, or there might be women in their community, like I would love to connect or collaborate and to kind of like what we're doing and kind of share all the beautiful work that's going on in the world. Because a lot of times I think it's just like I always have this vision that there's somebody in their home, in their bedroom, like just wishing for the very thing that's actually probably out there.
Yeah.
But that just has its own little tight little community that knows about it. And so,
yeah, I agree 100%. And that's also, everybody needs to find their group, right? That where they feel, oh yes, this is what I've been missing, and this, and then it goes back to them feeling valued, right? Because if you have these, and I love kids who have like really unique interests, right? Like, let's highlight that, let's bring that up. Someone else is going to be interested somewhere. So yeah, there's power in that. So we definitely, okay, so we'll connect. We'll share each other's social media, Facebook. I do want to share that link for people that they can join. So you'll have to send me that for the Sunday, the last Sunday of every month, you said, is the storytelling?
yeah. Yes. Totally.
Yeah. Because I think that's incredibly, like I said, storytelling is incredibly powerful. There is one video in particular that I like to show as kind of always an intro to the anti-racism work for white families. And I can't remember exactly who made it, but it's Black parents talking to their children about what to do if they're pulled over by the police. And it is so genuine and authentic, and there's so much fear in, the parents, that I think that's a great, like, nobody can watch that and be like, oh, I don't feel anything, and especially like I can say, I've never had to have that conversation. Okay, my kids are 13 and 10, but I don't see that I would have to have that conversation with my children. And so that's a good starting point, right? Like that's a powerful video that I found. So I'm excited to see, the storytelling and the power that you are able to bring forward too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the way to go. So on that note, should we wrap it up? And yeah, unless there's anything else. Did you want to add anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I'll send you the link, and that gives people just kind of a little glimpse into the community space too. Right. And if anybody's like kind of interested in a membership but not really sure if it's a good fit, like totally open to like jump on a call to chat just to make sure it's a good fit and be totally transparent with like the vibe of it. It is the first month, so we are doing kind of a founding members, for the first 2 months as we, kind of smooth out all the kinks and everything, and then also get the feedback from the members on like what's working and what's not working. So if you're interested in joining in at the baseline and kind of being a voice for the community, this is a great time when it's pretty small and intimate before I actually bring it live to a bigger audience in April, where I do more of a massive launch. So
okay, so that's good to know too. We can share that. Yeah, I think it's awesome, and the world needs it. We need more connection and compassion and growth and love.
Totally. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for this conversation with our community, and thanks for the work that you're doing. And I definitely want to stay connected and be supportive. Yeah. Okay. As you're going on with that. So
yes, we are now in the connected world of making things better. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.